Welcome to Astrology with Penny Dix. One of the things I try and endeavor to do with this channel is to make astrology accessible, understandable, and usable for everybody. Because when we're born, we are given this blueprint, this birth chart that is unique for us. And to understand it and learn how we can work with it in a way that is for the highest good of ourselves and the highest good of others is one of the wonderful co-creative ways we can work with the cosmos and the transits that come along. Now, today I'm going to be talking about the full moon in Leo, which is on the 25th of January. And first, to understand this particular full moon, I think we need to understand a little bit about the energy of Leo and the energy, in a sense, of what we can expect with full moons. So this particular full moon falling in the sign of Leo is going to be, I think, a very powerful energy that we're all going to experience. Now remember, Leo is strong, it's regal, it's heart-centered, it's soul-centered, it rules the heart, it is ruled by the sun. And so there is very much this sense with Leo of its regality, its need to be center stage. Anyone that you know that is born under the sign of Leo, or if you have Leo in your chart as either your sun sign, your rising sign, your moon sign, or have a lot of planets in Leo, you will know that that part of your life where you find Leo residing in your chart is where you do like to shine. It's where you want to be heard, listened to, and understood. And because Leo has fixed energy, it's difficult sometimes to move or shift a Leo from its position of being center stage. So what's happening with this particular full moon? Is there energy within it where we need to look at ourselves and maybe behaviors in ourselves? Because, we have this relationship with ourselves and with others. And because the sign of Leo has this kind of, I would say it rules the sign, or it's the sign that would rule narcissism. It's the sign of drama and acting, music, singing. So, we have to think of this center stage perception. Where are you in your life center stage? Is there anywhere in your life that you are center stage? Is there somewhere in your life that you don't particularly want to be center stage and that you would like to let go of or change, move away from, shift away from? I mean, for instance, teachers are center stage. They stand in front of a class of students, whether it's young children or young adults or even older, mature adults. They have to have a presence to command the group to listen to them. So there is something about Leo where we have to recognize this power to be listened to. The day I'm recording this, which is the 14th of January, is the day that the Queen of Denmark abdicates in favor of her son, who will be proclaimed king. So by the time we have this full moon in Leo, there will be a king of Denmark, and the Queen of Denmark, who had been queen for 52 years, retires. So there is something in this full moon energy that perhaps is active in the charts, the natal charts of both the retiring queen, the abdicating queen, and the king of Denmark. Leo, or this full moon, will be significant in their charts. I don't have their charts because it's all happened quite quickly, so there hasn't been a chance to kind of check it out. But if we think of this energy, it's about letting go. So, you know, if we take the analogy of the Queen of Denmark, this is a big deal. She's letting go of a role, a position where she has been in charge and the figurehead of a country for 52 years. I believe she was, I think she's younger than Queen Elizabeth, the late Queen Elizabeth of the United Kingdom. But they had a similar they were a similar sort of generation. So it's a big letting go. So what do you have domain over that you need to let go of? That could be something to do with the energy of this full moon. I am going to go through your individual zodiac signs, so you will know the area of your life that is under the spotlight with this particular full moon. But let's look at the aspects, because they are quite significant as well. Because, of course, this full moon happens just a few days after the Sun and Pluto were conjunct at 59 minutes of Capricorn. Hugely significant, which I will have been talking about in my week ahead videos and in the Pluto video that is going to be out soon after this full moon video. And today, of course, and I'm now talking about the 25th of January when the full moon is, Pluto is in Aquarius. We have this transformative energy in the sign of Aquarius. Now, what's interesting with this full moon is that both the sun and the moon, so the moon is in Leo, the sun is in Aquarius, they're both at 5 degrees. They are squaring Jupiter in Taurus. Jupiter, our planet of luck, opportunity, expansion, grandiosity. And what's interesting is it makes a T-square. And if some of you are aware of the dwarf planet known as Haumea, it actually makes a grand Earth cross. I don't have Haumea, sadly, in the program on the AstroGold system that I use. Hopefully they will add all these dwarf planets to the program so I can start inserting them into my charts. But so there is a lot of tension around with this particular full moon. I do think we're going to see some dramatic events. Now, because Uranus is in Taurus, remember Uranus is in an earth sign. Uranus is the sign or the planet of change, of the unexpected change, of shocks, earthquakes. That can be on a smaller scale, earthquakes in our own lives, because it's in an earth sign, it can be literally, we can see the earth moving again in some part of the planet. So this energy is going to be building up, I feel, from around the 20th of January, because that's when the Sun and Pluto are at this anorectic degree of Capricorn conjoined, and it's as if the Sun is accompanying him, accompanying Pluto, actually, who is a feminine archetype, but accompanying the energy of the planet Pluto through this regality of the full moon in Leo, showing the way into the sign of Aquarius. It's a message for all of us. And you will find in your own lives, it's a big signal as well, a big kind of red flag. If you've not let go of something that has outworn itself, be it a friend, be it a situation, a job, anything of that nature, then Pluto's saying, if you don't let go of it with this full moon, don't worry, I'll rip it off you when I fully get into the sign of Aquarius. We don't need that. We don't want that. We need to be in charge of our own destinies and work in harmony as we co-create with the cosmos and the cosmological energies. It's super important that we have that control. So there is a tension in this full moon that I think you will feel building up from about the 20th. And, the 21st is when Pluto actually slips into Aquarius. The Sun will have just slipped past Pluto, ahead of it, into Aquarius, as if it's kind of lighting the way. And remember, the Sun rules Leo. Where is our full moon? In Leo. So do you see how all these things, all these energies link up? It's so super important. Now, the other energies that I want to talk about that I think are important to mention is that Mars in Capricorn, where he is making us really work hard at the beginning of 2024. I don't know about you, but I've been run ragged with kind of work pressure. I'm quite happy because it means things are working out well, but it's creating a lot of hard work for me and a lot of decision making and a lot of spreadsheets and things like that, which I'm not very good at, but I'm having to learn fast. And this Mars energy in Capricorn is kind of really pushing me. And is it pushing you to grapple with, to grab hold of, to somehow learn to master a new way of dealing with whatever it is you work with? Be it a passion or a hobby, or your career, your work. If you're retired, it can be something to do with your life in general and how you handle your friend circle. But there will be something that you're having to work hard with. Now, this Mars in Capricorn is squaring both nodes, the North Node in Aries and the South Node in Libra. So there is this, again, this tension. At the time of recording, we're seeing how delicate and what a tinderbox events in the Middle East are becoming. And this energy suggests with the full moon, there could be some kind of release of energy, release of solar power. There could be perhaps power outages in some parts of the world. Systems get overloaded because Pluto is in Aquarius, which is about the internet and electricity, that somehow there is this kind of there's too much going on. And so systems crash. So be aware of this energy. And the other energy I want to talk about is also that Chiron in Aries. Chiron, remember, and I've talked about this before, represents that kind of inner wound that we can carry from birth and maybe even karmically from pre-birth. Something that always unsettles us. Something that will spark off our anxieties. Be aware of that kind of energy. Because Chiron is also conjunct the North Node. That's your destiny. That's where you're heading towards. And the South Node in Libra is bringing in issues to do with relationships that need to be addressed. Relationships that don't need to be thrown out, but need to be worked with. You know, it's an experience I've had recently where a relationship was teetering on the borders of collapse. And I worked consciously with that higher frequency of, let's resolve this. Let me not react. Let me help the other with me to find a solution that elevates both of us into a level of positivity where we both find ourselves in a win-win situation in that relationship. And I sense and feel that this is working. And I think the full moon for this situation will see a resolution and a way through and a way forward. And if we take also the energy of that Chiron, that inner wound, conjunct the North Node in Aries. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. This is saying, let's begin again. Let's start afresh. So that's really what I want to talk about with the general energies of this particular full moon. So now let me go on to your individual signs, because I think it's really important for all of you, especially those of you who may be new to astrology. Now, I do have on my website, pennydix.com, available a downloadable PDF of a beginner's guide to reading your natal chart. It has 4 videos, which you get the link to via the purchase of the document, and just very basic information to help you perhaps just understand your own chart a bit better. The importance of the rising sign, the importance of the moon sign, the importance of time of birth, the importance and relevance of retrograde planets. So also while I'm talking about this, I just want to remind you that for the month of March and April, I will unfortunately be unavailable and will not be able to see clients due to the fact I will be having my back surgery at the beginning of March and it will take time to recover. But it will be much time used in a very positive way. I'm going to pre-record videos, so there will be things to watch during those 2 months. But also I'm going to use the time because, there is a book desperately wanting to be written, desperately wanting to come out of me. It's funny, I'm shaking my head. That is really negative. There is a book definitely wanting to come out of me, desperately wanting to be written. And so that will be the perfect time to initiate it. Let's move on to your individual signs. So let's start with Aries. Aries, for you, it's in your 5th house. Now, the 5th house, remember, is the house that is ruled by Leo and the sun. And it's the part of the chart about creativity. Remember, Leo is about drama. It's about being center stage. It's also about children and the fun and laughter that children bring and create. And we don't always have access to that in our kind of adult lives. It's so important to remember that childlike part of us that just has fun. So I think this full moon is also asking you to let go of the drama. What drama may have been constantly playing out in your life that you need to let go of? Let go, forgive yourself, forgive another, forgive a situation, and let it go. That would be very positive use of this full moon energy. So let's move on to Taurus. Taurus, it's in your 4th house, the part of the chart to do with ancestors, to do with the family and the home. Are you making changes at home? Are you rearranging the inside of your home? Or are you thinking of moving? Those can be some of the things, but of course, every Taurian on the planet is not going to be doing those things. So then we have to bring it down a few notches and think, okay, so what is it with this kind of tension between the sun and the moon and Jupiter, creating this T-square? Well, it's actually that way. It's that way. So T-square. What is this energy that is pulling you in 2 directions? Are you being run ragged by certain family members? Are you just not managing to somehow keep up with all the things and people you need to connect with because you feel you ought to? Taurus, take a step back. Take a step back and remember that you have to sometimes put yourself first. We all have to actually put ourselves first. This is back to what I've talked about in many videos. Put your own oxygen mask on first before you start running around helping others. And Taurus, you can be so full of kindness and love and empathy. And I think you need to be showing it to yourself. So there's something about the solitude of the lion and the regality of the lion that stands in its sovereignty on a mountaintop. I think you need to adopt some of this quality in your life, Taurus. Okay, now let's move on to Gemini. So Gemini, it's in your third house. So this, of course, is the part of the chart to do with communication. And Gemini, you're a chatterbox as it is. Do you need to streamline what you're saying? Slow down with what you're saying. Think about how much you can get caught into the overthinking of situations. I think, Gemini, there is a lot going on in your life at the moment. You are an air sign. You are preparing for the entry into your sign of Jupiter in May. In May 2024, Jupiter will enter your sign. Again, you could almost say expanding the energies of Gemini, expanding the energies of the air sign and the mutability and the flexibility. And remember, Pluto in Aquarius, Aquarius is an air sign. So there's a lot more attention and focus in general to human consciousness. Gemini, what I'm saying to you is don't get caught up in the small stuff. Try and take a step back, Gemini. See the bigger picture. Gemini, Jupiter will help you with that when it moves into your sign in May. It will help you take that stand back because you are, I think, exhausting yourself with overthinking. So it's time, a little bit like I said for Taurus, the regality of the lion that stands alone on the cliff top. You need to adopt some of that same principle into your life, Gemini. Stand proud and alone. It does not mean you cannot have relationship. Remember, we've got this lovely energy from Juno, the asteroid Juno in Virgo. And even though Virgo is about, in a sense, purity, it's also about care. So it's about the care that you can give your relationships, but it's about finding more, it's moving out of the cerebral, Gemini, and moving into the heart, showing how you care and communicating how you care, not necessarily through words, but through loving actions. So that's the message I want to give you for this full moon in Leo on the 25th of January. Now we move on to the sign of Cancer. So Cancer, for you, it's in your second house. Now, the second house, as we know, is about finance, economy, value, self-worth, what you do to make your money, how you bring in what you need for your day-to-day living and expenses. So Cancer, it's a full moon. Is there something that has been a drain on your resources? I think this Leo full moon is about streamlining your whole financial structure and setup, because I'm thinking about that Mars in Capricorn. Capricorn is about structure. Mars is about action. Mars is asking you, Because remember, Capricorn is your opposite sign. Mars is asking you to put some different and more streamlined structure into your financial situation and how you manage that side of your life. Especially, again, using the analogy of the lion standing alone. The king of the jungle saying, I don't need that. I don't need that. That can go. That I'm done with. I'm honing everything down just to the things that serve me well, in other words, serve you well, and actually serve my highest good and the highest good of others. Not just my loved ones, but the whole of humanity. Because this is the frequency and energy we all have to move into. To move with the changing times and energies that Pluto is bringing. So let's now move on to Leo. Well, of course, Leo, it is in your first house. So this full moon is very much about you. But Leo, I think it's about what you have to let go of in the way you, in habits you have, in behaviors you have. Yes, you like to stand center stage. Yes, you are proud. Yes, you like to be the king of your domain. But you can also be a pussycat too. And maybe you need to allow a little bit more of that soft, heart-centered, pussycat side of you that is gentler. And I mean, listen, I have 5 cats and they're wonderful when they're loving and affectionate, but I do know they can be little devils when they choose to be. But you know, Leo, so can you. You can certainly be a little devil. And I just think this full moon is saying, you know, I'm thinking of the fixed energy of Jupiter in Taurus, because remember, it's squaring this full moon. So what it's doing is saying, watch your resources, watch your career work, whatever it is that you do, whether it is a passion that you follow, your soul path, whether it is a situation that you make money out of, watch how that is draining your energies. What do you need to let go of? What does not serve you well? Are there relationships in your life, Juno in Virgo, that do not serve you? Let them go. Streamline. This is a full moon about streamlining everything. Okay, Leo, so moving on, we move on to Virgo. Virgo. So this full moon falls in your 12th house. So this is the part of the chart where, again, we find this king of the jungle alone, standing proud, because sometimes, Virgo, you are a caring, loving person. You give out a lot of empathy and care, but you're not always so good at receiving it. You need to learn through this full moon. So this is about letting go of certain behaviors that don't serve you well. This part of you that keeps yourself locked away and doesn't complain or ask for help. I know how hard it is to ask for help, to actually acknowledge and say, I can't do this on my own. Can you help? So Virgo, is this full moon for you kind of enlarging an awareness and making it seem far more kind of in your face that there are areas of your life that you struggle with and need help with? And this full moon in Leo can help you just cut some of those restrictions away. You know, you've done your penance. You don't need to keep whipping yourself with a cat o' nine tails. We're back to cats. Leo the lion, cat o' nine tails. Stop beating yourself and be kind to you. That's the energy I feel is around for you, Leo. Sorry, for you, Virgo, with this Leo full moon. So let's move on to Libra. Libra, this is in your 11th house. Now, the 11th house, I think whatever is going on in the 11th house for any of us this year is significantly important. Because if we take the solar wheel, it's the house of Aquarius, and it's the house where Pluto is moving into. But then we have to turn the dial back again and say that for Libra, Leo is in your 11th house. So Libra, what and who are you, what are you creating in your life? What energies are being created in your life? What projects do you need to let go of? Are you pushing yourself to the limits, Libra? How are your energy levels? I'm thinking of this sharp T-square of Jupiter to the sun and to the moon. And I think that Jupiter is exhausting you. I think, Libra, you need to use this full moon energy to take a step back and look at everything you've got ticking over in your life. It feels like you've got so many different baskets with different eggs in. And I know it's not about putting all our eggs in one basket. That's not what I'm suggesting. But I am suggesting that you find a way to reduce what projects you have on the go, because otherwise what worries me, what concerns me for you, Libra, is that your relationships are going to suffer. Because maybe if you have another half, they can't keep up with you, or they feel a little bit neglected or left out, or they just can't, as I say, keep up your pace. I think Saturn in Pisces is asking you to slow down. It's asking all of us to slow down and set some boundaries. And you are not exempt from this, Libra. Libra, reduce where your energies are going. Remember, the heart is kind of ruled by Leo, and the sun rules Leo. The sun is in Aquarius. Where Leo is in your chart is usually where Aquarius is. Be mindful of how you look after you. Okay, that's what I want to say for Libra. So now I want to move on to Scorpio. Scorpio, So for you, it's in your 10th house. Now, this is quite interesting for you, Scorpio, because if you're still working, if you're not of retirement age, then this is very much about your work, your career. If you're self-employed, this is everything to do with your business. If you are a student or you're retired or you just don't work for whatever reasons, this is the part of the chart, the 10th house, which is what you're passionate about. You might be passionate about a certain spiritual topic that you're kind of perhaps secretly working on because, you know, Scorpio can be about secrets. And I think what's interesting with the full moon in Leo in this part of your chart is, are you going to find that at work or something was connected with your work, that secrets come out that are surprising, that change things, that are shocking? Remember that Uranus in Taurus, making the earth move, you know, shattering the foundations of business organizations. Are you in one of those organizations that gets a good shake? Just be aware of it with this full moon and make sure you, as I've said to everyone, take care of you. Because if we don't take care of ourselves first, we're no good for anyone else. Scorpio, let's move on to Sagittarius. Sagittarius, 9th house of travel. Where are you off to? What are you up to? I think some of you will be making big decisions about pretty long journeys and actually seeking out the sun. Because if you think of Leo as being ruled by the sun, are you really, if you live in the Northern Hemisphere, really yearning and longing for the sun to break through and heal your particular aches and pains, whether they're emotional or physical? So also remember the 9th house is about higher education, and this is Leo, and this full moon is saying, is there something that you really seriously want to learn, to make the most of? Remember, Sagittarius, by solar zodiac wheel sign, this is actually your house. It's a Sagittarius house. So what do you need to look at that you need to understand more about? That somehow the sign of Leo and this full moon can help you decide what stays and what goes. Is it time to make some big decisions in your life, Sagittarius, about now what you do, where you go? You might be a teacher. Is it time to change your working hours or reduce them or even leave the teaching profession? Just saying. Let's move on to Capricorn. So Capricorn, this is in your 8th house. So the 8th house, as we know, is top and foremost the house of transformation. But it's also the house of joint finance, and other people's money, investments. It's interesting, this house, because of course by zodiac or by solar zodiac sign, it is a Scorpio house. So it's also about hidden secrets. And there's something about this full moon, which I've said actually to, I think it was Scorpio, that there is a sense with this full moon, that there can be secrets that get revealed. And this could be about financial situation in your life that needs to be addressed and sorted out. So be mindful of this, Capricorn. Remember, you've got Mars in your sign, empowering you, enabling you to take action and be active. But there may be something to do with joint financial ventures or investments that you have that you need to change, because there could be some disruptions in the flow of world events that affect the economy. And I'm thinking about the price of oil because of what's going on in the Middle East and because of what's happening with the interventions that are happening from big world powers. So Capricorn, just be mindful of your whole financial structure and anything you share or investments. Let's move on to Aquarius. So Aquarius, of course, this is in your 7th house, the house of significant relationships. Aquarius. You know, it's interesting about Leo, because Leo in your 7th house is, what I want to say is, you are somebody that is quite good being alone. Aquarius is pretty good at handling distance and space and remoteness. You'd all make wonderful remote viewers. And remember, you are all very internet connected. If you're not, then you're going to have to up your game, because Pluto is not going to take any prisoners. Pluto moving into your sign is going to really start pushing all of us to up our game with technology. But this is a full moon in your house of significant relationships. What needs to change, end, or go? Because yes, sometimes a full moon can indicate the ending of a relationship. And I'm sad, certainly truly sad for you, Aquarius, if that's something that you wouldn't want. But remember, it doesn't mean that that's what it's about. Remember, there is also the potential for change. Don't forget, Aquarius, that we can mold these energies to fit in with our lives. How about if you've got a relationship that's struggling, that you find another way to tackle the problems that you have jointly. Instead of being the proud lion, standing your ground and saying, nope, I'm right and you're wrong, or standing in your possible narcissism, not saying it is, but it's out there, then maybe this Leo full moon is asking you to make changes to you and to the relationship, to bend, to be more flexible. It's fixed energy, this full moon. And I know that's difficult, but that Jupiter squaring is exacerbating anything to do with money in your relationship is going to be highlighted. Anything that is difficult in the relationship on any level is just being suddenly brought to the fore. You have to take a step back, Aquarius, and think, how much do I value this relationship? This might be a marriage that you've been in for many years. And you have to decide, do I want to make the changes that I can make consciously by consciously working with this relationship to up its energy to a higher level in line with the higher frequencies of consciousness, that the collective is being encouraged by the cosmos to elevate ourselves up to a much more loving, peaceful way of harmony and caring for each other. Remember, people in general don't want war. It's the men with power and money and big egos that want war. So Aquarius, what can you do to shift your energy to say, my relationship is worth working on and saving for the highest good of myself, the highest good of both of us and our family, and the highest good of everyone. That would be good use of this energy, Aquarius. So finally, we move on to, I feel there should be a fanfare or trumpets when I get to Pisces. I have to do this. My oceans of emotions. Don't worry, with all the changes I'm making, or rather Team Penny are making to the channel and to the brand, that won't go, that will stay. So do not fear. Penny in Pisces and oceans of emotions are here. And how are your oceans of emotions, Pisces? Because I feel they could have been spilling over all over the place, because this full moon is in your 6th house. Now, the 6th house is the house of service. It's also the house of health and workday routine. I think you've been finding it hard to get some kind of structure into your working routine since the Christmas and New Year break. I think you've been thrown in almost at the deep end, and you're struggling like this, doing the doggy paddle and trying to stay afloat in your oceans of emotions. You know, what it reminds me of is Sedna. Now, Sedna is not particularly aspected in this particular full moon, but Sedna was holding on to the boat that she was in, that her father had thrown her out of because they needed to get rid of somebody from the boat because there was a storm. And if someone wasn't thrown overboard, they would all go. So father sacrificed daughter. Mother sacrificed son. But is this about the letting go and the letting God that we all have to go through as parents with children, as friends, as significant relationships, where we actually just have to let go and have faith? Because what Sedna did as her father chopped off her hands, her wrists, her arms, she surrendered. She surrendered to the ocean of emotion, the water, the ocean. She left and went into the pain. And as she went into that, she let go and was healed. She became the goddess of the oceans in the Inuit mythology. That's all up in the North Arctic Circle, Iceland, etc. So, Pisces, what are you letting go of, and what are you finding hard to let go of? This full moon is saying it's timely. this has to be let go of. It's painful, but it leaves space for new birth. Remember, nothing is taken from us that won't be replaced by something that serves us better. So for you, Pisces, you too need to be the proud lion, the king of the jungle, standing atop your mountaintop, surveying your particular vista, knowing that being alone is sometimes a good place to be, and that actually recognizing that because the heart is ruled by Leo and the sun rules Leo, and the sun connects us to our solar system and to the galaxy and to the Milky Way and the universe and beyond, to every being, to every frequency that is alive in our universe, beating with energy, the energy, just this beating heart. Remember, Pisces, you have a heart in your soul and being that beats. Be aware of that. Bumpity boom, bumpity boom, bumpity boom. It's your life force. Embrace it and be like Sedna. Let go. Because then what is meant for you and what is meant for others can come in. So Pisces, on that note, I will bring this full moon in Leo to a conclusion. I want to thank all of you for being here and for all the new subscribers. We have had a tsunami of you joining me here on this channel, and I really do value your presence here. I am with Team Penny, we're reducing the content at the moment so that Penny doesn't suffer burnout or become an absolute pain in the butt to Team Penny. And also because obviously I'm having this surgery in March, so I'll need time to recover. But we have a booking system now, and there are still some available spaces if you contact me privately. Please do not have a tsunami of you contacting me, because it's really for people that I'm moving who'd already booked for March and April, that I'm finding spaces for in February. So if you just be aware that the bookings will not be available till May. So the calendar is open from May onwards, so you can book, and at least you've got your session pre-booked. It's all very simple. It's all about the age of Aquarius and Pluto. And remember to check out my planet series, because Pluto is going to be the first video I'm doing, which is all about the outer planets. And the first one in the series is clearly Pluto in Aquarius. And remember to check out my website. Please like and subscribe to the channel. And thank you so much for joining me. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.